Welcome back, traders. So Sunday morning, 9:30, I did live stream my market outlook. However, I don't think I did a very good job. I felt that I was rushed, and I will do a better job on my next live stream. But for this video, I want to slow things down and give you a more detailed idea of what I'm thinking is going to happen in the marketplace. So before we start, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So first of all, my usual warning, this week is non-farm payroll week. So markets can tend to be very choppy, and then we're waiting for that 8:30 news on Friday, and it could be very, very volatile. So definitely be careful going into this week. And also, I usually do my analysis on the micro contracts, but I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the minis along with the continuous contracts. So starting here, I have the S&P minis. And looking at the price action, we did go up into this weekly SIBI, and then we went down. In my market outlook, I basically just said that we're going to take out the sell side below these lows, which we did on Monday. Now, if you look to the left, we do have this wick. The sell side is going to be the low of that wick. And you can even look at, and you probably should, look at 50% of this lower wick as well. These are going to be the next sell side targets. However, a funny thing is, if you look at the continuous contract, which is ES1 exclamation, you can see that this sell side did not get reached yet. This sell side, we did not take that yet either. So definitely going to be in play that we could bring the market down even lower. Or you can think of this as S&P divergence, because we have not taken the lows out on the continuous contract. But if you look at the June contract, we did take those out. It could be considered as S&Ts on the lows, and we could come back for these flat highs right here, creating a new all-time high. But of course, we want to look for some other things before we start thinking about these highs. Now on the daily chart, because we took out the sell side early in the week on Monday, I'm expecting some sort of retracement before Friday. So what buy side am I looking for? Well, there is this SIBI. I think we can retrace into this for sure. Now above it, we also have a volume imbalance on the daily chart. There's one here, and there's one here as well. I'm not going to label it. You can kind of just line it up with the top of this SIBI. And of course, we also have the smaller SIBI up here, which I'm not going to label, but there's a possibility that we could retrace back all the way up here. Now, if we start going above this high, and if we start going above this weekly SIBI, then and only then am I thinking about these all-time highs back in play. Otherwise, I'm kind of thinking right now that we're going to be retracing into these inefficiencies just to drop lower. But there is some potential for some short-term scalps on the long side, back into these inefficiencies, maybe into this weekly volume balance. I wouldn't try longing into this SIBI, but definitely keep an eye out on these inefficiencies. Now moving on to Nasdaq, here's the weekly chart. You can see that we've taken out the sell side below this low in August, below this low. Looking at the contract, the continuous contract NQ1 exclamation, you can see that we have divergences once again. We did not take out this low that was back in September. So you could look at it as S&T divergence on the low. We could be coming back perhaps into this weekly fair value gap. However, I want to go down into the daily to get a little bit more information. So here's the daily chart for the June contract. And just like S&P, we took out the sell side on Monday early in the week. So I expect some retracement before Friday, probably into this daily fair value gap. At the least, I think this is definitely a high probability. We also have this weekly volume imbalance, this old daily volume imbalance as well. So definitely keep your eye on all these inefficiencies. If we do start going above this weekly volume balance, we do have a daily SIBI as well. So there is a potential that we go up for that weekly SIBI. However, in order for that to happen, we have to take out this high. We have to go above this weekly SIBI. Unless I do that, I'm not really paying any attention to that weekly SIBI back up here. I'm more in favor of price coming up to these inefficiencies just to bring price lower. Still, if you go back on the weekly, well, you don't see it very well here, but if you go to the continuous contract, you can see that we do have these relative equal lows. This could be a long-term pool of liquidity that we aim for. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this clears it up on what I am thinking about in the marketplace. Again, please give this video a like and subscribe, and come join me Sunday morning 9:30 where I'll be live streaming my pre-week charting. Be careful with NFP this week, and until I see you next time, safe trading.